Welcome back to Access Anime. I'm Henshin Ikeda, and today I'll be doing a walkthrough review of Naruto Shippuden episode 288. Now, if you remember from last episode, it was mostly a flashback. It was with it was with Lady Tsunade, so not a lot changed there. But toward the end of that episode, we actually got to see Killer Bee and Naruto, and Killer Bee mentioned he'd like to see the necklace that Lady Tsunade gave to Naruto, and we find out during Naruto's transformation into the Nine Tails, it kind of broke. But that was last episode, and this is a new episode, so let's dive right in. And again, I'll keep my comment and my rating at the end of the clip, so stay tuned. Let's dive right in. Let's get a little dirty. I'm ready. Are you ready? Let's dive right in. Now, we open up this episode with Kakashi, and he has Zabuza's his sword, which again was one of the 7 ninja swords of the mist. That was kind of interesting. But again, we open it up with Kakashi, and we hear apparently Sai has sealed one of the ninja swords. That's what we hear. So there's a small scene where now Kakashi's up to date on that, and then all of a sudden now it's nighttime, and there's information for Kakashi. So, you know, we went from daylight, now it's nighttime. Sorry, I digress. Now, apparently all of Kakashi's men are dead, and there's like a little string, like all these bodies are dead everywhere, and we're introduced to Kushimaru, which is one of the 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist, and also, I hope I pronounced his name right, Munashi. He is the other 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist. So you got 2 of the top swordsmen, maybe not the top, but 2 members of the 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist, right there, ready to kick Kakashi's butt. And I was so blown away by this, I was ready, and then all of a sudden Kakashi's getting his butt pretty much handed to him. Now, what's also interesting is out of nowhere, who is going to appear? That's right, Guy. He appears out of nowhere. So I thought that was kind of funny. Now, while Kakashi notices that Kushimaru killed all these people, we are introduced to Ren. Yeah, she's back. So she's kind of passed out on the ground. So that was kind of interesting. Now, we also see Kakashi tell Ren to regroup, and basically she leaves. So now it's just Guy and Kakashi versus Kushimaru and Munashi. So I was all stoked, but this battle wasn't that drawn out, so I wasn't really that impressed. It didn't go as long as I thought it would, but again, it was nice seeing Kakashi's weaker side where he's relying on Guy to a small extent. Because if you remember correctly, Kakashi gave orders for everyone to regroup, not to take on anyone independently. So Guy obviously did not listen, and he came back to save Kakashi, which was kind of nice. Now, because he came back, we actually are introduced to a flashback with Kakashi and Guy and another shinobi, obviously. And this is when they were kids. And Kakashi, obviously, he was the captain of this group. And you see Guy basically trying to say, well, we should do this. He had his own plan, and Kakashi's trying to keep his head straight and say, no, we're following my rules. And then we find out it's because one of the members of their group passed away that Kakashi's so much of a hard ass, but he has to be to keep the group together. But again, this is a flashback, and then you see Guy going off doing his own thing, which wasn't exactly the smartest thing, and apparently it was with a stone shinobi. So they're fighting against the stone shinobi, and they're attacking Guy, and he's running, and then he falls, and it looks like Kakashi eventually shows up, and he uses a Chidori, but it's a weak Chidori to end this little fight. Now, although he agrees this wasn't the best plan, if he didn't know his group, if he didn't know Guy that well, then he wouldn't have done it, obviously. But also he said, this is exactly what he did to Naruto and Sasuke when they first formed their group. It's like, you're scum if you can't support your own guys. You shouldn't go out and break the rules. But if you do, it's for the right reasons and it's okay, apparently. So it's kind of funny. But sorry, I digress. Back to the fight. We end the flashback, and now we see Guy and Kakashi. They obviously have lost the battle because they ran away, and you see Kakashi use his, I forget which style he uses. I believe it's Earth style is what he used prior to the flashback. So they're hidden and they're trying to regroup. Now, you see Guy, his legs aren't the best, and you see Kakashi, his eyes are now closed because they're now weak. So it's kind of an interesting, gotta rely on stuff. Now during this flashback, it's weird how they're able to jump in and do all this fighting, because they're like, well, you know, if my eyes go, I can hear you, and so on and so forth. That's what Kakashi says after the flashback. Now, during the flashback, we see Guy say, well, if I can't use my arms, I use my fingers. You know, if I can't use my legs, I use something else. So that was actually, I like that. I don't know why, I like that part. Because usually Guy's the one that's always making the jokes or something. It's like, you want a contest, you want to do this. But because they've done all these contests between Kakashi and Guy, they know each other so well that if one goes blind, the other one knows exactly what the other one's going to do. And they're really in sync. Now, after this flashback, we get to see, obviously, Kushimaru and Munashi, and these guys really don't care about each other. I mean, they're reanimated, they're dead shinobi, they're reanimated, and they're just cutting through each other just to fight. And they're arguing, they're bickering, and this is working out in the favor of Kakashi and Guy, because they're able to formulate a plan and kick butt in general. So that was kind of nice. Now you see Guy and Kakashi versus Munashi and Kushimaru now, so they're going head on head, and it looks pretty even. And generally what Kushimaru and Munashi want to do is take Zabuza's blade back, which is what Kakashi is using right now. I guess they're not really happy because they want the sword back in general. Now we see out of nowhere where it looks like it was evenly matched, but then Munashi and Kushimaru were about to have the edge on this little battle. Who would appear? Ren with the Sealing Team. They stop Kushimaru and Munashi just before they were about to do a, looks like suicide in my opinion, because you see Munashi, he's about to commit suicide because he thinks, we may be reanimated, but we don't know the extent, so I'm just going to do this technique anyways to kill everything around us. And his partner Kushimaru was a little hectic on it, but he was going to go with it anyways regardless, don't have a choice really. But that's when the Sealing Team showed up with Ren, and they generally saved the day. And again, we do a small little flashback of how Kakashi and Guy ended their battle with the stone shinobi, a little flashback. And then you see, I guess, Kakashi and Guy doing their whole little moment, looking at each other, reminiscing, and one of them mentions to Ren, well, you should check in with the other platoons because you're doing a great job. So that's where it ends, where we see Ren leaving to, I guess, check on the other platoons. Now, final thoughts. Are they going to keep the weapons of Munashi and Kushimaru, who were part of the 7 Ninja Swordsmen of the Mist? We don't know. But it'd be interesting if more top shinobi from the Allied forces use their weapons. It'd be kind of interesting. Also, I'm a little interested to know, are we going to see Naruto probably join in with Kakashi anytime soon? Because we don't know where he is on this map toward the Allied forces, we just know he's with Killer Bee. And where is Lady Tsunade and A? Because they're no longer in their flashback. Where are they? Are they back at HQ, or are they gonna head straight to where we saw those 6 reanimated shinobi, or that were not part of the Allied forces, which were the villains in this episode, well, in this series right now? Because remember, they had the Junkrai, they had the Sharingan in one eye, the evolved form of it, and the Rinnegan in the other. So it's kind of interesting. But yeah, that generally ends my final thoughts. I didn't have a lot of them. Now, as per rating, 3.5 out of 5. The battle should have been longer. And there was no real emotion in this episode, but the battle could have been drawn out a lot longer. The flashback kind of killed it. Twice it killed it. But 3.5 out of 5, that's my final rating. That's my final rating. 3.5 out of 5. But definitely comment down below. Let me know what you thought. Thumbs up, thumbs down, subscribe above, follow me on Twitter, and, well, check my Twitter out anyways in general. That ends it for my walkthrough and review of Naruto Shippuden episode 288. I still have one more walkthrough and review to do either tonight or tomorrow morning, so definitely stay tuned. But before I go, I gotta say it. You can't stop the access, but you can watch the feed. I'll see you later, guys.